everyone, welcome back to the end of another week. We were outside in the rain before the sun sets so that I can kind of show you what's going on. I sorted out the rhubarb and some mint, and I got some of the planters set up here. So these long ones I think are going to be for tomatoes, and these red ones are going to be for potatoes. So I actually had some potatoes chitted in the pantry on accident, and they're in that one. But yeah, it's been very, very wet this week, so I have not done any more work on that bed over there. But since I dug up the strawberries and they're chilling over by my room there, I did manage to get out in between the rain and sort out the strawberry bed. So long story short is that I basically redid it. I've found out that these like broadleaf things, I forget what they're called, but they have enormous tap roots. And if you don't take out like the entire tap root, they just grow back. So some of them, right now is a great time to take them out because yeah, they have like, these things are like over a foot long. So I basically had to end up redigging this. I pulled out all of the big broadleaf things, put another layer of the cardboard mulch or cardboard weed protector down, and some more dirt. And over in the basket there, my strawberries are hanging out, and when the weather starts drying, well, I mean, at least when we have a gap in the rain, I will get the strawberries planted. That is not right now because it is raining. I found a pretty cool little bottle while I was digging up the yard. And I like to keep little things like that. So yeah, in the house, some stuff is happening. This is actually the vacation week for my French school. There's my strawberries. And I've started collecting mats because like our shoes get horribly muddy in the winter time, and then we end up tracking mud everywhere. But yeah, so this week is our vacation week at French school, and I am going to be hanging out at the house a lot more, getting stuff done. And next week is super exciting because we're renting a van to get some of the bigger things into the house. But speaking of which, let's go to the house and check out what's going on. So in my room, it's still a pretty grand disaster. I do have more potatoes and ginger and dahlias that are kind of hanging out here waiting to be planted. And I picked up some other flower bulbs. These are some more sacks that I'll be using for all of the potatoes. And I showed you before that the strawberries are hanging out there because they were in here and starting to kind of dry up and look pretty sad. All of my garden stuff is kind of hanging out here because this actually delineates the space that the buffet storage thing will take up that I promised to accept from his mom. So when we rent the truck this coming weekend, the buffet will get transferred here, and I'll actually start being able to put some of my junk away. But yeah, the buffet will live there. It's kind of a low boy type long thing, but it offers a lot of storage. And so I did the whole pretending that my thing was there so that I could kind of rearrange where my sewing would be. The rats are still going to be in the corner there, and I've started like taking all their stuff out. I've also contacted somebody to start keeping their ears open for any opportunities to give some rats a home. In the house, we have the fires going. It's really nice and warm and toasty. But the tile floors are quite cold on the feet. So yeah, when we come inside, we transfer to slippers. In these areas, not much is happening. In the bedroom, I'm not going to bring it down, but we did get the giant projector screen set up. So I think I mentioned before, like, obviously this is our bedroom where we're going to sleep. But since neither of us really like going out, we decided to also invest in a projector and a sound system and a big screen, and that way we can enjoy movies at home without having to go out and pay for them. In the closet, we've started assembling the closet system. So it's just kind of a snap-in IKEA thing. We've only gotten the stuff for this side because we kind of wanted to see how it works. And I'm happy with it. It seems to be doing its job. So we need to continue putting these uprights in and getting the rest of the shelves set up. But once it's set up, I think this side is going to be mine, and then we'll probably get, I mean, if we like it, we'll probably get a matching set for this side. So we'll see kind of how that evolves. We've been covering the bed because we thought that our that our broken water heater upstairs that flooded into this room was a fluke of the house. But Francis was actually talking to one of the neighbors that stopped by today, and we were told that apparently the equivalent of whatever the water company is out here had some novice doing something with the water pipes, and they basically switched something that they weren't supposed to switch, which caused the pressure to be like the wrong direction. So not only our system basically exploded over here, but like a bunch of houses had the exact same thing happen to their water heaters from our town to like the neighboring towns. So it actually ended up being quite bigger than we even thought. Unfortunately, it's too late because we've already gotten insurance and stuff to deal with our problem. But yes, it was not isolated to us in the end. However, that being said, Francis has been up here. He had to open up a few more holes, but we finally got insulation back in this space. And this week we are having some help come to put these big wooden boards. I think they're gonna go this way, and then we're gonna hash them the other way, and then the pan will go somewhere in here, and we're still gonna use these 3 beams inside the pan to elevate the water heater. But basically all of that is gonna be moving here. And then I don't know if you'll see. Let's go see if you'll be able to see. I don't think you will. No, not. Well, anyway, through that door, we did manage to set up a shelving unit. So maybe next week when we have some more light or I have a flashlight, I'll show you all that. But yeah, in the meantime, this is all of the old insulation that was distributed all over the floor. We have the insulation between this floor layer and the ceiling below. Things to come is we have help this coming week for moving and repositioning all the water heater stuff here. So that's exciting. I'm not sure if we're going to be using them to help with anything else. But I did move like a bunch of the stuff that was hanging out here into the storage shelves in the other space. And in Francis's area, we've just been kind of figuring out what's going to happen in the hobby room. And I think we've decided that we're going to be putting some storage up along the top here, and then some desks along this corner here. So yeah, we'll see. And hopefully like some of this stuff will end up finding homes once some of the other furniture comes in. But the biggest thing to come is definitely the fact that we're going to be renting a truck next weekend and getting the power hammer into the workshop and some of the other bigger pieces of furniture into the house. We are still waiting to hear from the carpenter on the display cabinet that's supposed to go on that, as well as the doors in the kitchen. We had problems with this once Francis redid the doors, which I showed last week. We were having a hell of a time starting the fire because like the oxygen just wasn't getting in. So he actually ended up having to basically like dismantle a thing right in there. There's a knob here that controls, well, that's supposed to control the airflow, but basically it wasn't working. So he had to pull it all out and rejig it. But now it's working really, really well. It still darkens the whole windows, but at least it's working. And we've done some calculations with regard to the air conditioning units, and having the fireplaces running definitely helps with the energy consumption, which over here in Europe is like crazy expensive. Like I thought it was expensive in the Bay Area, and energy here is like 2x energy in California. But yeah, so we're trying to reduce our energy footprint because it's really expensive out here. We're still waiting for the doors, still waiting for the display cabinet. But yeah, that's it for this week. And I hope you had a good one, and I will see you next week. Bye.